Well, all right, we're back. What do we got going on here? A lot happened between this morning's snafu with the charting and right now. It looks as though there was an issue. I don't know, on one of the updates. It just changed some type of batch file, but we were able to get the charts back up and running, as you can see. So not a problem. Interactive brokers, it took them like 10 or 15 minutes, but they figured it out pretty quick. I got some experts over there. Always like working with them. Just do it through the chat, and they know exactly where to go. So they've been doing it many, many years. I've been with them for at least 25 years, so I trust them and their platform and everything that they do. I do pay $1 per side on my trades, but their platform is probably one of the most stable. A lot of people complain about them because they stick by their rules. There's other. I mean, they do have a discount platform as well. It's just called IBKR Lite. I've never used it since I already have the Pro version. If you're just a regular Joe investor that wants to grow his money, there's several different things. I mean, you can use IBKR Pro or IBKR Lite. I'm not paid for any endorsements or anything else like that, but you can go to E-Trade, you can go to TD Ameritrade. I have accounts with all of these. It's another one, TradeStation, Tasty Trade or Tasty Works. Any of these places, just look them up online. There's plenty of brokerages out there. I've heard too many. Excuse me. Let me grab a cough candy here. Right back. Okay. Darn allergies get me every year. Got me hard this year. But anyways, where were we? Where are these menthols going? That's better. As soon as it warms up a little bit more, it'll be better. All right. So yeah, we're talking about different platforms. I don't have any experience with Robinhood or some of these other kind of phone-oriented ones. I like the ones that are on the PC. It's just you can see more. You don't get just trapped. You get a little bit better view of what's actually going in and on and around the market. As we just kind of check down through here, see what's actually moving, what's not. Pretty much a down day in the market, but we did close out quite a few positions. I think we had, see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We had 7 positions close out today, and we opened 3. There's only one dividend payment tomorrow. It's on Pepsi. It's in the portfolios. Of course, there's other ones out there that are not in our portfolios. We look at dividends paid today was pretty low. It's 242, but that's to be expected. First of the month, Nobody really pays dividends at the first of the month. It's surprising, you know, when you see something like Pepsi paying on the 3rd. It's kind of weird, but that's just the way they do it. So going down through here, you know, if you get off work in the afternoon, you should have alerts set or something that tells you, hey, you know, TD Ameritrade just sent you an email stating that you just had a trade. You know, that should be your first thing that you look at before you look at your email and anything else, because that's more important than your email or say your social media platforms and all this other stuff. You want to get that trade in and then don't worry about it. Get your trade in, then go do whatever you're going to do. Most people, they miss that opportunity. They'll forget about it, and then it's like, damn, I didn't put that order in. It's too late in the morning once the market opens. I mean, it could have been up, it could be down. You just never know. So uh, until you actually get used to doing it on a regular basis, stick to some rules. Make sure that you make your orders. All right, so we just established a new position under VRTS. This is a pretty common one to hit the scans. It's kind of an expensive stock, but I trade it quite frequently in many accounts. So I like it from that standpoint because it is a high vega, meaning it's high volatility. You can see here it's moved quite a bit, but we're going to get our closing order put in. We got plenty of time before the end of the day. We might even close it before the end of the day. Sometimes it moves like that. So that's what we paid overall. We're going to add the $3.28 plus the $1 for the commissions, and then we're going to add 5 cents to that just for regulatory fees and everything. So it's $255.10. We're going to close that at $255.10. Okay. Now I have no idea if it's going to go this way, right? This is strictly a rules-based platform, or when you see this, say, hey, price has been there before, it might go there again. It could just drop from this point forward. So what we do now is I'm looking at my 6-month chart, and I want to put in, this is a Fibonacci, yes, but we don't use it like the Fibonacci pros use. Okay, all we're using it is for a tool. We can also do this. We could go just move that line by accident. What we could do is just draw a line and say what's half of that, right? 79, make it 80, and it'd be the halfway point. It's just an easy tool to use on this particular platform. You can use it however you want to try to get your retracement or whatever time frame that you want to work in. But you've got to stick to the rules. You can use what I'm using. If you watch me long enough, you'll figure out that the system that I have works. And you're more than welcome to follow along. You know, you make trades by yourself. I'll never give you, you know, say, oh, buy this, buy that. All I do is I work off of a scan, and I work across multiple portfolios, and many that you know, I don't even post half the stuff that I trade. So let's see, 190. So we're going to try to put in another alert here just to give us some fair warning before it comes down and hits that. If it comes down and hits that, I don't know. I don't know where this is going. Okay, don't worry about it. All you're trying to do is make that full year's worth of dividends, $3.28 off of that one share. All right, so that's what you're going to make, $3.28. Now people laugh and scoff at that, but if I trade this 1,000 times in 1 year, it's $328 or $3,280, right? And all I'm risking is $251. That's how much money you have at risk. It could go to zero, and that's what you have, $251. If it comes back down here and hits here, I'm looking to enter with another position, right? Let me see what the max shares is so I can annotate it. It's 6, right? So we're going to put 6 shares on here so people can follow along. 6 shares. That's the max amount of shares, so I can do 1. All right. So now that that's crystal clear, let's go back to the chart. So we have everything annotated there, and we're just looking. If it hits this line, I'm going to put a limit order in below it. That doesn't guarantee it's going to come down there. I don't have any magic value. This is just math. I'm saying, hey, it's traveled this far in 6 months, right? If it comes back and hits this, I got it for half price now. So my average is going to be around 223, my cost. If it comes back down even further, then my average cost is right at the 50% mark. Everything returns to the mean. Remember that. That's the biggest thing I can tell you. You know, 90% of the time it happens, right? Comes back down through. You see up, down, through. Doesn't matter what time frame you're on. But if the longer the time frame you use, the more accurate you're going to be. You want to use a minute time frame? Good luck. You better be fast, and you better have a lot of money if you want to make any money. And you better have a good platform, as you're up against pros and machines and computers and robots and algorithms. I just choose to keep pulling money out of the market. And once you get multiple accounts going, you spread your money around. And once you get up to $1 million, you don't need my help anymore. But it's going to take you a little bit of time, but it goes faster and faster. When you first start building, this seems very daunting. Well, let me tell you, if you're making 20% per year, you can double your money in 3 years. Now, I'm not saying you can do that right off the bat, but you'll have good years and you'll have bad years. But as long as you're winning every year, you're moving forward. Majority of the people are constantly taking losses. Why? It's strictly a function of how much money you have versus how much money you're investing in each position. Each stock is different. They don't just go straight up, and they just don't go straight down. You have to be ready for anything. So we got about 22 minutes left. Let's see what else is going on here. Let's go down through some of the ones that sold. We'll go down through, let's see, SWK. Where is that at? I don't even remember where it's at. I remember oh, it says here. Oh, I didn't even hear that one. IVH. Let's check IVH. That must have kicked off. When did that kick off? 1439. Huh. Didn't even see that. Yeah. Yeah. You see, you still have no losses. It would be in red if it was realized profit and loss. It would be in red. You can change the colors however you like. I like blue. So let's go to IVH since we picked that up. There it is right there. Oh, we already. Oh, that's another buy there. Hold on a sec. Let's see. IVH. Is that on the right one? Yep. What the heck's going on here? Oh, it hadn't completed it yet. It's just buying a little bit at a time. It'll tell you once it's actually completed buying. I was like, well, it didn't even go off. Most of the time, it just buys it all at once, but there's very few shares available. But it's still buying, or it just finished. 8. Okay. 1354. I have to look at the order. I can't remember. Let me take a look, because I know that's on the scan. And it is, oh, it's 18. So we know it's got to buy at least 8 more, right? It's bought 10. I can probably even look at the time in sales. VH. Let's take a look. Sometimes it's kind of neat. Yeah, see here. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, that's probably my orders. It's nickel and diming them. It's not costing me any more per trade. It's just a combination. You're just not getting it all at the same time. And these are, it's hard to say what those are. Now where'd it go? Yeah, so we still got 8 more to go. That's why it's saying that right there, 8 shares. So we won't worry about it until it actually gives us a signal. Where was I at? SWK. Let's figure out where we're at. Get sidetracked like that. Squirrel. All right, SWK, we can see that was closed. We look at the chart. Taking its time. Okay. Yesterday we sold one. For some reason we didn't have the full amount in there, so we just moved it up a little bit to cover the dollar for the trade. So now we can get rid of this because we have 0 up here. This is no longer in play. We just get that off of there. You're not worried about your max shares on there. Maybe it comes back up on the scan. Make sure it's not on the scan for this week. I've done that before because you can utilize it again. Yeah, it's not on there. All right, so we'll go to the next one, CIT. I still got plenty of time to go through these. There's only 7 of them. That one was bought last week, sold this week. I removed the stuff that's necessary, so leg. I think it was on this account, so yeah. So you can see we sold pretty much, I mean, if you want to call that a top, call it what you want, but it doesn't make any difference to me. That's what I targeted, and it went up there and grabbed it. Maybe it was looking at it. It could be a computer looking at it for a short. I don't know. It's, you know, it's all speculation and guesswork. I don't guess. I just put my numbers in. If it goes up and hits it, great. I'm out. It's the high, that's the all-time high for the 6 month, right? That's all it means. Doesn't mean anything. You just take your profit and move on. So let's go to EMN. So where are we at? EMN. Okay, so we bought last week, right? That's not on scan anymore, and it sold this week. Okay, you're starting to see a familiarity here. Okay, now here's one that's been in this particular account for quite some time. So this was a decent trade over a long period of time, but this one paid pretty good dividends the whole time. So you can see it finally cracked that high spot, and that's exactly where that order was sitting. All right, and then came back down. So we're actually out, and that was actually 45 shares. I think that came to 129.47 profit on that one. Okay, so it's just a patience game. You know, if you get all wrapped around the axle and like, oh, I got to make, you know, X amount of dollars per day, you're going to force yourself and you're going to make mistakes. This way, it just comes to me. I mean, I was very patient. I was like, okay, made my dividends there. Came up, came real close to that point. Actually, probably touched it and never closed out. Came back down, got some more dividends, and what? A month and a half later, it closes out. So I got the full year's worth of dividends. I have no idea how long MPLX has been. Now this, you cannot trade MPLX. It's an MLP. MLPs cannot be bought and sold in IRAs. So make sure that it's in a cash account. They won't allow you to trade, so you don't have to worry. But there's plenty of them out there. Another one's Cody that comes to mind, CODI. They all pay pretty good dividends. The MLPs do, but they must be traded in a cash account because they're treated differently at tax time. What else we got? IP. There's another one. That one's been in the account for some time. Came up, whack that one. And what's the last one? Oh, we got another leg, which was on. That's Leggett. I can't remember the name. Leggett and Platt. Yeah. So you see that other one was higher on the other account. It was just bought at a different time, you know, or DCA differently or whatever the reason. But this one actually closed at a lower price. I think the other one was, let's take a look. Now I can go through all the other accounts and figure out where those are at. So 46.85 versus looks like 46.10. So it was a 75-cent difference between those two portfolios with the same underlying. So it had a good push up. Now there's no, there's no magic here. This is just math. All right. We're trying to stay as close to the mean as possible when we make our trades. A scan helps us do that. All right. So that's pretty much everything that was traded in there. You can see on these accounts. That was a nice big one right there. The MPLX finally had it was 47 shares. So it was about 2 shares over. I talked about that a couple weeks ago. And then all these trades today, 1, 2, 3. And we look at this other account and we just add them up. We got and just one on that account. So overall 155.31. Maybe we close something else out. I don't know. I don't really pay attention to that stuff too much. It is what it is. It is what it makes, as long as you stick with your set goals and stick with your rules. If you change the rules, you're never going to win. Yeah. You think by changing the rules that you're going to have an advantage, and it's not the case. You have to keep the rules the same. You can add to it, but you can never subtract. Whatever your base rules are, you keep those in place, and you'll continue to make money. But if you switch your rules, the key is, and the number one rule is, don't lose money. If you can pivot off of that, you'll make money investing, and you can trade, and you can invest, and you can trade, and it's just a system that you have to come up with. You can learn from mine. You can come up with your own. I'm not telling you you have to do this. You take some of these ideas and use your imagination. But if you're told that you can't lose money, instead of listening to all the experts out there saying, hey, go make sure it's a 2 to 1, where you got to make twice as much as you're going to lose, I'll guarantee you're going to lose money. Reason being is your loss is so much closer to your average price than your profit target. It has a better chance of hitting your loss. That's just math. If you look at standard deviations, you're going to lose money. So, and typically what people start doing is they put their stops even further away, so they lose more money, right? And say, well, if it's half and half, then I got a 50-50. And I say, well, that's true, but when you lose money, it's gone. When you win money, you keep it. unless you spend it. So another thing that I don't talk about much because I'm not a financial advisor. I won't tell people what to do with their money. But if you're trying to invest and you're trying to trade, and let me back that up. If you're an investor or a trader and you're trying to invest and trade your way out of debt, it won't work. What you need to do is focus on eliminating your debt and then grow your money. As long as you're in debt, you'll always be behind the eight ball. And you'll make the mistake of thinking, I can borrow money. And if you're borrowing money to play in the market, yeah, you're going to lose it. A lot of people think, oh, I can borrow $100,000 at 4% because I can make 8 in the market. Well, if you knew what you were doing with money, you wouldn't have to borrow it. So think about that. Learn how to manage money first, and you won't ever have to borrow money. I use a credit card like everybody else does, but I pay it off every month. Have for 30 years. I don't pay interest. I earn it. Don't be one that pays it. Those who understand interest earn it. Those who don't understand it pay it. So don't pay interest. You might have to suffer for a couple years to get out of debt, or maybe take 2 jobs. Been there, done that. Once you understand how powerful money can be in your pocket when you're on the other end of it, and you're receiving these percentages instead of paying them, there's a reason why they lend money. Because they like to pull in like that 28% on credit cards. It doesn't take them long to double their money, right? And if you just pay for 3 years on that credit card, they don't care if you ever pay that thing off. Just like I don't care, I'm never going to pull that money out of the market because I can live off the interest. If you want to live off the interest, you got to put your money in the market. Be smart with it though. Talk to a financial advisor. See what your risk is. Don't take my word for it because I don't give financial advice. I'm just saying what I do. People are scared to death of the market. Why? Because people lose a ton of money every year in the market. But it's not for the reasons you think. Nobody ever wants to admit that they don't know what they're doing, or they jump in with both feet and think they understand something. And really, they don't even understand the basics. Risk, if you can understand risk, and you can understand interest, earning it versus paying it, you got it halfway licked. The other side of it is patience and continuing to follow the rules that you spell out. I'm giving everybody a template here. I do the same thing every day. Boring as hell. But what does it do? It makes money. All I do is look around at positions, say, oh, yeah, I might come in tomorrow and the market might be down 1,000 points. You think I'm going to do anything different? Nope. Not a thing. All I know is I'll have a lot of trailing stops in, or trailing limits in, because I'm a buyer when the market's crashing. But everybody's a seller because they're trying to save their ass because they've never taken profits. But yeah, we're winding down. What's the overall market doing? Well, it's down. Yeah, it's down about, futures down 80 points. Doesn't look too bad. NASDAQ's down big, 330. Huh. But that thing rips and roars up and down. Bitcoin at 50.5K. There's oil at, they say there's a big, crude's up 3.5%. Yeah, I don't even pay attention to silver and gold anymore. It's a joke. The only thing I have is, what is it, SLVO. Talk about this every once in a while. It's not real silver. It's called Silver Shares Covered Call, X-Links. I have it in several different accounts. It just pays, what, 29.4%. Now, pay attention to what it's saying. Look at the numbers, play with it. Don't make rash decisions, and make sure that the money you're investing is spread out. Don't go all in on one thing. You'll regret it. Call that FOMO and YOLO plays. We don't do that here. None of it. From time to time, I will sell a put, but that is more advanced type stuff, and a lot of people get involved in that, not knowing what they're doing. It's not the end of the world if you got into it, but the whole idea is you don't want to be losing money. So if you don't have the size of account to be playing with options, you best just leave them alone. They're fun to learn. There's a lot to it. They're kind of confusing in some respects, and other respects, you're leveraging money. Anytime you're leveraging money, it works both ways. It's a double-edged sword. You can lose big and you can win big. Everybody has this thought in their head that they're going to win big every time that they play options. Doesn't happen that way. You're playing against some pros out there, and it's very confusing just because of the ladders, the options chains, all the different strategies that are out there. So it really comes down to you trying to make decisions on what you think you see in the market. And that's what gets people in trouble, because these charts are misleading. This information, everything that's to the left of this bar on the right, is meaningless. It's meaningless. The price right now is $254.44. That's how much it costs to buy that stock, period. It doesn't mean that next week it's going to be $290.34 because some guru says it's going to be that, or some report comes out and says, oh, it's not worth that much, it's worth $215.93, and the stock price goes up. Somebody says, oh, it's worth $290, and the stock price goes down. Don't pay attention to that noise. Use your rules. Dividends is where it's at. Continue to play by the rules. In a couple weeks, I'm going to open up another small account, just like a starter account, so I can show people, and I'll go through like on a week-by-week basis, what to do and how you can do it. You don't have to use the stocks I use. Right on the close. I guess we got to figure out which that one was. Make sure it's on the list if it is, or if it was a see if it's a DCA. I think we have that in one of these accounts somewhere. It's familiar. Maybe, maybe not. RHI. Let's check. Nope. Not on the scan and not in the accounts. Yep, I just paid dividends last week. All right. So I guess that's it for today. I post everything all my trades on Twitter during the day. You can keep up with me there at Dividend Collection Team at T1 Recon Rider. Or you can come out here and just watch every day for I try to get on for 30 minutes in the afternoon, an hour in the morning, half hour before the opening. Sometimes I go longer, just depends on what's going on. Other than that, I guess we'll see you in the morning. Have a good night.